Hello, welcome back to Nixflix, where we are going to be covering part 2 of Code Geass. Sorry for the leave of absence last week with the kind of intermission video with me being sick and coming off of the Super Bowl. I just really didn't want to talk about Code Geass at the moment because this one's going to take a lot more brain power, whereas I could just rant in front of the camera about how being sick and watching your favorite football team get humiliated on national TV by a lot to a little is very, very disappointing. So this is going to be a bit more in-depth video. We're going to be talking again about Code Geass. We're going to be jumping off into part 2. I'm going to be covering my couple issues that I have with the show, and then all of my praises that I have for it, which are many. So sorry about the audio, it's gonna be kind of echoey in here. I tried recording this in my car and then all the lights turned off, so I don't want to deal with that again. Anyway, Code Geass Part 2 is fantastic, but I have a couple of issues with it. First, I'm going to start off with how Part 2 starts. It kind of assumes that you didn't watch season 1 because it had like a year hiatus from being on TV. It's an anime original, which isn't very common. Lots of animes are adaptations of manga or light novels or whatever. So this one being a pure anime only experience, they had a lot bigger of an overlay between season 1 to season 2. So they kind of assume that you didn't watch it. You didn't watch season 1, so then they kind of reintroduced the power system of Geass and then the politics of the world. So the first couple episodes are pretty clunky. We have to basically reintroduce ourselves to every single character, which is tough. That takes a lot of time. And I don't think it harms the story too much, but it definitely harms it to the point where you're feeling like, okay, let's get a move on. Let's get to the real plot of the show, which at the end of the day isn't the biggest deal in the world. It's just something that you can kind of notice. My first, my second gripe with the show, or with part 2, it's not really a full issue that I have with it, but it's a small one that I just noticed, and it is about the character Anya. Anya is one of the Knights of the Round, so they're supposed to be the most powerful knights that Britannia has to offer, and Suzaku eventually becomes one after his promotion. And Anya is interesting. She pilots the Mordred, which is a very powerful nightmare, and it basically just has this gigantic super bazooka that just blows up everything. But Anya's character is used as a plot device because we have to have Marion be involved in the plot in some way, otherwise the ending doesn't make as much sense. And then what Lelouch does in C's world won't have as much bearing. So Anya is, in relation to the plot, she is at the shooting of Marion. This is shown in a flashback when we eventually get to C's world and then Lelouch sees Marion. Actually, it might be when C2 reveals to us that is Marion because she touches her. It's one of the two. Not super important. Regardless, with that introduction of Marion's character, we just kind of use Anya as a way to get Marion into C's world, which is fine, but it's written in a way where they're like, we have to figure out some way, so let's have this character be our plot device to get us there. They do it well. It's just something that I noticed as someone that really enjoys fiction. Watch a lot of anime and whatever, so I just kind of noticed it. I was like, okay, it seems a little bit like a plot device. They do it well, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. I just noticed it. To kind of jump into the C's world portion of it, C's world is really interesting. Obviously, in season 1, C's world isn't dived into heavily, but when we get to season 2 and we learn more about V2 and the order of Geass and what Charles's whole plan is, and it actually gets into reality. It's really interesting. So the dynamics within C's world are fascinating. Lelouch enters into the world as he's chasing after Charles, and Lelouch, learns about Marianne and learns about her assassination, which was all planned by V2. Because V2 saw Marianne as an obstacle for Charles to kill the god in C's world. So saw her as an obstacle, or as her assassination. We go from there. And C's world is confusing on a baseline, but it's very interesting. Eventually, we get to we have Lelouch and C2 and Suzaku versus Charles and Marianne. And Marianne and Charles revealed to Lelouch that they were sent there because they love them. Reveals to Lelouch that him and Natalie were sent to Japan because they love them and they wanted to protect them. And Lelouch doesn't buy it. He is like, why would you do that to your own kids? You just outcasted them. Why would you do that? So Lelouch has all this vitriol and is just so pissed. And he's like, my mother, the one person that I thought was pure of this world, it seems like she doesn't care, and all she cares about is Charles's dream of killing God and whatever and becoming perfect beings. And Lelouch is just pissed, so he uses Geass on God, and which is, I don't know how that works, because you have to make direct eye contact, and where is the god's eyes at? Whatever. It's done very cool, so whatever. So Lelouch kills or orders God to erase Charles and Marianne if they're gone, and then Lelouch enters back into the normal world with his two-eyed Geass, which means his Geass is really strong, and he enters back into the fray between Britannia and the Black Knights as now Britannia's emperor after he gets outcasted. Lelouch was Zero, and then he gets outcasted once it's revealed by Cornelia and Schneisel that he is actually a Britannian prince, and the Black Knights learn about Geass, and then Lelouch has to abandon, otherwise they're going to kill him, and that leads him to C's world. And then this creates a final confrontation between Lelouch versus Schneisel and the Black Knights, and the battle in its totality is phenomenal. We have Schneisel's forces, which have the single most powerful thing in the show, which is Damocles, which is, they basically get to fire off nuclear bombs that are way stronger, and it's game over. Lelouch and Suzaku stop it somehow, and Lelouch gains control of Schneisel, and they end up winning. Everyone thinks Suzaku died, and now everyone is under the ironclad rule of Lelouch, where he now gets to enact the Zero Requiem. The greatest ending in anime history, and in my opinion, in all fiction, is the Zero Requiem and the ending of Code Geass. Lelouch defeats Schneisel, specifically in a way where he is ordered to follow Zero. Very important. For the Zero Requiem to work, Lelouch has to die, and he does all of this, all of the things that he's been doing. He took away the Damocles key from not only breaks free from Charles' Geass. All this is done, and Lelouch has achieved his goal. He's the most hated man on the planet, and it's all done so that Nanami can live happily and in peace. And Lelouch tells Suzaku, you have to kill me, and Suzaku stabs him with that crazy sword. He stabs him in front of the whole world so they all can see that the evil Emperor Lelouch is dead, and it's fantastically done. This creates world peace to where now Suzaku is now 0. He takes on the mask as 0, and now Schneisel follows him. So this makes us all work correctly, where Schneisel can resume power back into Britannia, and we get the United States and Japan, and then they relinquish some of their territories, and it's just phenomenally done. Lelouch says at the end, "I've destroyed the world and I've created it anew." And he had emphasized earlier in the show, the only ones who should kill are the ones who are prepared to be killed. And then we see that Lelouch dies, and it's just fantastic. I love Code Geass. It's beautifully written. And it's an anime only exclusive, so you gotta watch the show. There's like some spin-off mangas, but they're not totally canon to the show, and the show is a true canon. And it's phenomenal. I didn't even talk about like the politics between Lelouch and Charles and Schneisel, which is super interesting because Schneisel wants to overthrow the Britannian current government because he thinks that's run so poorly, and then Lelouch wants to overthrow Charles as well because Charles is awful. So then once Charles is removed, then it's Lelouch and Schneisel battling for the throne. It's just beautifully done. Code Geass is top 3 for me. The other 2, we'll see if I talk about them. I probably won't. I have to make room for one show in particular that I will be watching in April, or I will be rewatching in April, my yearly rewatch in April. That's a big one. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's about it. I love Code Geass. I think everyone should watch it. Even if you don't like anime, it's fantastic. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like the video, that's fine. Leave a dislike and let me know in the comments what I should do to fix it. Sorry about the poor audio. I'll try to film my car next time and see if I can get it to work again. Other than that, thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a good one.